I'm excited to be here with you, and it is going to be a fantastic evening. I already feel it. So, we're talking about Reset 365. Reset 365. Now, before I get started, there's a couple things that I want to share with you, a couple words that I need to define, and that will help guide our thinking and help put us all on the same plane as we begin to dive into Reset 365 and then gleaning and pulling from each speaker these special nuggets that are going to impact our lives. So when you talk about reset, the word reset means to set again or adjust or fix in a new or different way. And so when we talk about reset, we're talking about making some adjustments. We're talking about starting over again. We're talking about beginning again, and being able to reset is both important, both in business, and it's also definitely important in life. And so Reset 365, we're talking about now taking action. Now, this whole thing is about taking action. We got to reset, but then we have to take action. So let me define this word action real quickly for you. Action is the fact or the process of doing something, typically to achieve an aim. I remember when I was a young boy, I used to watch this old preacher on television. I don't know what station he came on, but he had this catchphrase that he would always say when he would do a call to action. And he would say, "Don't just sit there. Do something." And I would laugh every time. But basically, what he was telling us was that we needed to act. We needed to take action. He was telling the people that sitting there and doing nothing without taking action, that you are really missing some special keys and some special productivity that is bound to impact your life. And he believed that everyone was built for action. Action is a key element that manifests desire and belief. However, action in and of itself is interesting in the context in which we're talking about it today, because we're talking about taking action. In this context, when we think about it this way, action is really kind of sitting by idle, is sitting by idle, waiting for someone to activate it and empower it. Action is powerless until someone takes it. Until someone takes action, it can never produce in your life. Hallelujah. Even the Bible is built on the foundation of faith and belief. And it declares that faith without works or action is powerless and dead. Action must be taken before anything can happen. And so we can no longer sit idle. I know that many of you have great dreams. You've had visions and desires of things you wanted to achieve and accomplish, whether it was, via the family, whether it's via your career, whether it's via your business. We always had goals and dreams, but many times we have failed to take action. So just like that preacher, I'm going to tell you, don't just sit there, do something. So I read this book. By Morgan Snyder. It was a book about men, and he was talking about becoming a king. And in his book, it talked about being in a city, and being in the city, he was seeing this skyscraper being built. And he was astonished at the process, and noticed that the previous structure that once occupied that lot or occupied that land had been demolished and completely hauled away. And then the revelation hit him. In many cases in life, in order to erect something new, the previous thing has to be torn down. So before I can erect something new, something has to be torn down. In life, the old way of thinking and choosing, in business, the old culture, the old system, the old previous methods, the previous way of collaborating and partnering, the old marketing and strategies, those things must be torn down in order to erect something new. Now, they may be modified, but they definitely have to be adjusted if we're going to remain relevant in order to continue to grow, to thrive, and continue to prosper. Hallelujah. Something must be torn down. So for us, in order for us to maximize the benefit of the reset, and to maximize the benefit of taking action, something has to be changed. Something has to change. something has to be torn down. For this next section, I'm going to talk to you about changing the game. That's what I'm going to call it. When I talk about change, I'm talking about changing the game. And changing the game, when I use that, changing the game is a metaphorical phrase that refers to one's way of doing things. It is symbolic of the system or code that governs a person's life or business practices, that provides the framework by which one operates on a day-to-day basis. It is what shapes, or it is shaped by a person's core beliefs and the impact, it impacts the reality that one lives in. Now, let me share this with you. When it comes to change, many people think change is, it's a bad thing. But in reality, change is really good. Generally speaking, human beings, we are creatures of habit, and we generally do not like to change. And sometimes we get upset when change is required because, there's an unspoken understanding that any change will require sacrifice, a sacrifice of time, a sacrifice of energy, a sacrifice of mental focus or intellectual capital, a sacrifice of business resources and time, a loss or a slowing of production. And sometimes it will cost us or require even more. We feel that way. In fact, we have some conditions that, situations where we really despise change. We once we're even, when someone even hints that we need to change, most people immediately become defensive, outright angry, or they might say things like, I'm fine, or it's fine, or things are fine the way they are, or our business is doing fine. So most of us look at change as a negative thing, but in order to accomplish our goals and stay relevant, we must embrace change. You must embrace change. The whole Reset 365 is about taking action, and it's about changing the game. When we're talking about changing the game, we're talking about a complete systematic reset, a renewal in four major areas. Number one, mentality. I must change the way that I think. Number two would be my methodology. I've got to change the way I do things, change my methods if I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to accomplish and achieve my goals. The other thing would be meditation. I need to change what I'm filling my mind with, change what I'm focused on, change what I'm thinking on. And then lastly, I've got to change my memberships. Now, this one is special to me because this is something that oftentimes it will go unnoticed. I've got to change my membership. My memberships are what I call the circles, the people that I am connected to. A circle is really important because circles really impact my ability to achieve and accomplish my goals, impact my ability to achieve, accomplish, and grow even within myself. My circles now, they will, when I have the right people in my circle, I got people in my circle, connections and relationships in my circle of people that will pick me up when I fall down. I have people in my circle that will encourage me when I'm tired and situations and circumstances when life has beaten me up. I have people in my circle now that will hold me accountable even when I am, procrastinating or putting things off, or I'll have someone in my circle who will help me to course correct when I'm experiencing mission drift, when I'm drifting off the path from where I'm really trying to go. They'll help me to correct my course, line up, and get back on the right path for my journey. Now, I want to give you three causes of inaction, because when we talk about why people do not act, why don't we act when we're supposed to? Why don't we take action when we're supposed to? I want to give you three. This is not an exhaustive list, but I only have a limited time to talk, so I'm just going to give you three. Three causes of inaction. Number one will be latent fear of the unknown. Latent fear of the unknown. That's the what if. We keep saying, well, what if? The thing is that 99% of the time, what we feared never even happens. But many times people allow that latent fear to control them. There's a story of a mountain climber who was climbing a mountain. He was climbing the mountain. He had his ice picked. He was climbing ice and that kind of thing. and he was climbing, and then he lost his footing. Now, along the way, he did have all these safety harnesses that he was nailing into the ice along the way. But once he fell, the weight of him came. It was so strong that it pulled out several of those harnesses, and he smashed his face against the ice and he was temporarily blind. He couldn't see. His eyes were swollen and bleeding, and it was there in that moment, hanging from the mountain, that he was clinging to that rope and all that snow and ice and cold. And he began to pray. Now, watch this now. He prays and says, "Oh God, help me." He cried out again, "Oh God, help me." And then he heard a voice say, "Let go of the rope." And he said, "Oh, no, 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 I can't do that." And he said, "Oh God, help me. Please, God, help me." And God said, "Let go of the rope." He says, I can't. Why won't you help me?" Well, as the story goes on, the man ended up expiring. He died right there, clinging to that rope. And when rescuers the next day went searching for him, they found him partly frozen to that rope, and he was absolutely 3 feet off the ground. Well, people say, well, fear is what killed him. No, fear didn't kill him. Inaction killed him. And so fear doesn't destroy us. We have to learn to operate with fear and move beyond fear. There may be no situation where, you are taking major risk and there is the complete absence of fear. We have to overcome it. Inaction is what caused this man to die. In many cases, many of our dreams, many of our visions, many of our business aspirations also die, not because of fear. They die because of inaction. The second cause of inaction would be a long list of failures, past failures that can play with your mind, present failures. Maybe you're in a failing situation right now, or you're experiencing failure right now, and that will cause you to not take the next step that you need to take. Or it might be our imagination. Maybe it's imagining future failure. And that your imagination is incredibly powerful. It's on the canvas of your imagination, you can paint a picture of you failing or a picture of you winning. Many times, if you paint that picture of you failing, that's exactly what's going to come to pass. But if you will paint a picture of you winning and flow and meditate and live that picture out, then you will succeed. Michael Jordan and even the late Kobe Bryant, both of them historically have documented that they would practice over and over and over and visualize themselves hitting the game-winning shot. They would visualize, they would imagine themselves winning the game, not losing. In some cases, they would have bad games where they missed 20 shots in a row, but they would believe that they were going to hit the next shot, which is the game-winning shot. I don't know what's happening in your life. I don't know what you've been through, the challenges that you face, but I want to encourage you to imagine yourself winning. Imagine yourself achieving and accomplishing your goals. Paint that picture on the canvas of your imagination and focus on it. Boy, that's good. All right. Thirdly, the third cause of inaction is a lack of resources. That sometimes people feel like that they don't have enough stock or supply of money or materials or staff or other assets. There are many success stories that I want you to just think about for a second. Many success stories in which the person that was successful and very famous started out with absolutely nothing. They started out by simply taking action. The last cause of inaction would be laziness. Now that's just us. That's just being lazy. That's just not wanting to do the work that is necessary for success. But we got to do it. We've got to do it. This is Reset 365. We're talking about taking action. Now, let me give you 3 definite results of inaction. Number 1 would be failure to reach the desired goal. That is a guarantee. If you never act, if you never do anything, then you will never reach your goal. That's guaranteed. Number 2, the definite result of inaction would be frustration or frustratingly losing out on a learning or growth experience. Even if you make a mistake, you can learn from it. Even if you fail, you can learn from it. but you'll miss out on this growth opportunity if you don't do it. And then, of course, lastly, you forfeit all opportunities of making progress towards the known goal or the vision. You won't even get closer to where you're trying to go if you never take action. You've got to take action. So as we reset now, there are four impact action steps that I want you to focus on. Four impact action steps that we'll need to take if we're going to experience success and results in the future. Number one, the number one step, and this is not necessarily in any particular hierarchy, but just a short list that is not exhaustive. But number one would be visualize the destination. Visualize the destination. First step is visualizing the destination. This really is vision. In other words, I identify the goal, where it is that I want to go. And then this will require me to do a couple things. Now, I've got to be honest with myself. I have to honestly assess where I am. If I'm in business, I have to honestly assess the productivity, the success of the company, what we've been doing thus far. And this is the only way that you can cast clear vision. And so GPS uses the same thing. In order for GPS to lead us where we want to go, it must first recognize where we are. And so it is with you. Once you visualize the destination or the goal, write it down. Clear understanding of the vision allows for an acceleration towards the known goal. When we are driving in a car at nighttime, and let's just say it's a foggy night, oftentimes you have to really slow down because you can't see clearly. But when the fog lifts, man, you're able to see out very, very far, and then you're able to accelerate towards your destination or towards the known goal. So it is with us when we have clearly defined, clearly written, clearly understood goals and vision, then we are able to accelerate towards a known goal. And remember this, you have to write it down. Things do not just happen, they must be planned. Secondly, the second thing is implement, or the second step is implement discipline. You have to implement discipline. Develop new disciplines that will help you stay focused and accountable to achieving the vision. You've got to develop new disciplines. Find out the areas where you're struggling or where you're a little weak, and then move forward. Develop new strategies, new plans, new disciplines now to help you stay the course. Thirdly, eliminate distractions. Listen, distractions are going to come. Identify them and aggressively eliminate distractions, good or bad. There are good distractions, and then there are bad distractions. A good distraction might be somebody saying, hey, why don't you take a break and come over here and hang out with me? Me and my friends are getting together. We want you to be here. It just won't be the same without you. And you know that you are focused on working on your business, or you're focused on accomplishing a goal or fulfilling a very, very, very important task that is going to help you move forward. Or maybe somebody wants you to help them with a project, or maybe they just need some assistance with this or that. It may be something good, but it is a distraction nonetheless. They must be eliminated. Some distractions are good ideas, but it's not going to lead us to where we need to go. Therefore, you've got to eliminate it. Fourthly, make a decision. You've got to make a decision. At the end of the day, after all this great teaching that we're going to receive today, we're going to have to make a decision. Make a decision to take action. You have to decide that you're going to take action. Decide to get started. Just get started. You don't have to have everything in order for you to get started. You do not have to have it all together. You don't have to have all the answers. You do not have to have all the resources to accomplish or to get started. You just simply have to make a decision to start one step, take one step, start just today, to do what you can today. And then tomorrow, worry about when tomorrow arrives, work on doing what you can do tomorrow, which would be simply take another step. After a number of days, you will discover that you've taken a number of steps. The last thing is don't quit. Do not quit. Sometimes people quit because of adversity. Listen to me carefully. I want you to expect adversity. Adversity is going to come. Adversity is going to happen. You notice when you're on an airplane, and the pilot comes on and he says, did this buckles seat belt light come on? Doom, doom. The pilot says, oh, we're expecting rough air. Please, buckle your seat belts, remain seated. Well, when we experience turbulence and we're on the airplane, nobody says, oh, I want to quit this flight. Let me out. Everybody simply buckles their seatbelt and they just ride it out. There's going to be adversity in life. There's going to be adversity in business. Don't quit. Don't get off the flight. Buckle it up and ride it out. You have what it takes to be successful. You have what it takes to win. You can win even with the hand that you've been dealt. Adversity come, they're just challenges and obstacles that must be addressed and overcome along your journey of success. It's time for Reset 365. Let's go. Let's go. That's the end of my presentation. All right, Mel, where you at? There you go.
There I am, Dr. Miller. Look at you. Oh my goodness, look out. You know what? I'm ready to stop and ask you some questions, but I remember we got a panel, so we got some questions coming to you at the panel. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, my friend. And we will see you at the panel. But listen, thank you. Everybody, chat us up. Come on now. You got to send some chats in. Let us know. Let Dr. Miller know that he has brought us some nuggets right there. Look out now. Hey, I want to remind everybody a couple of things here. Maybe not, a couple of things I want to remind you before we bring on our next speaker. The first thing is we want you all to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a family member, to tell a friend, to sign up on our Facebook group, the Reset 365 Facebook group. We need for you to sign up and we need for you to tell folks to please sign up. Let's make this community bigger and better. We've got some speakers throughout the entire year ready for you, and it's going to be a tremendous journey. So please sign up for the Reset 365 Facebook group and get your information and stick with us. Also, there is something out there called Clubhouse. If you are a member of Clubhouse, Reset 365 is on Clubhouse as well. So we want you to look out for us on Clubhouse, and we'll have some conversation and bring on some more nuggets like this, some tips and resources just like this on Clubhouse. We want you to join us. From this point on, this train is going to continue to ride on. The journey continues at Reset 365. Let me say this before I bring on our next speaker. Our next Reset 365 is scheduled for March 2nd. Mark it down. March 2nd is our next Reset 365, and it's going to be coming to you at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So mark it down. Next Reset 365, March 2nd, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Hey, look at Dr. Miller. He's got us going now, and this train is ready to roll, and we are ready to bring on our next speaker. Our next speaker is Sheles Wallace, and she'll be coming up here virtually. We'll put her up on the screen while I read a little bit about her bio to let you know who Sheles Wallace is. She is based in St. Louis, Missouri, as well as in Houston, Texas. She's a certified business coach, speaker, and master facilitator. Sheles is co-founder of, listen to this, Billionaire Thoughts. Oh my goodness, I love the way that sounds. Billionaire Thoughts. Her specialty has her involved in so many different things: sales and marketing, team building and engagement, strategic planning. She's a heavy lifter, but the one thing I love about Sheles Wallace is she's involved with Billionaire Thoughts. Come on now, Sheles.